What's up, guys? Jeff Keighley just dropped all the information for the Game Awards, and he announced the nominations for the Game of the Year. And I'm kind of confused about some of these. I want to talk about it with you guys. Don't get offended. This is my opinion, okay? But anyway, let's just go through each game one-on-one. Alan Wake 2. I'm playing this game right now, and this game is really good. Like, the graphics are insane. I like how they have live action scenes mixed in with the game scenes. Like, it's actually really crazy to see. And Remedy has done this before with like Quantum Break, but it just wasn't as good. I don't think they did it with Control, but I think Alan Wake 2 is the culmination of what they wanted Quantum Break and Control to be, and they were able to combine it and make the ultimate game and the best game they've made, which is Alan Wake 2. I do prefer the gameplay in Control more, but Alan Wake 2 is really good. The story, I'm kind of confused. It's starting to make more sense as I play, but I'm still kind of confused on what's happening, and I watched a recap on the first game and stuff, so I'm caught up, but I don't know. The gameplay is really fun. The audio in the game is super eerie and scary. And there's parts of the game where like I'm just so tense that I'm just waiting for something to happen, so I'm not getting scared. But it's a great game. Alan Wake 2 definitely deserves a spot on here. And it was honestly a surprise. Like out of all the games that have come out this year, I was not expecting Alan Wake 2 to be so good that it surpassed all the other games and was able to get a spot on this list. But anyway, Alan Wake 2, I agree completely. Great game. Baldur's Gate 3, I haven't played it, but just because of all the great things I've heard about the game, I mean, I'm not even going to argue with it. I'm not even going to touch it. I'm just like, I'm sure it's an amazing game. I want to play it. It's just that gameplay style. It's like, I think it's like turn-based. I've watched some gameplay. I could be wrong. It's kind of like turn-based, and those kind of games I'm not really into. I'm definitely want to play. I just don't want to drop $60 on it. I'm sure it's worth it, but like for me, if I'm not into the gameplay that much, then I'll probably end up regretting buying it. So I'm gonna wait till it's on sale, so that way I can convince my friends to also get it, because my friends are the same way. But out of all the things I've seen, the cutscenes, the things you can do, I like how it's like Dungeons and Dragons. Like I've played Dungeons and Dragons like once, and I want to play more of it. So since Baldur's Gate kind of has that feel of Dungeons and Dragons, I definitely want to play it and get in, convince my friends to get it. See, that's the thing. I need to enjoy it enough to be able to convince my friends to get it. So I have no problem with Baldur's Gate 3 being on here. It's the talk of the town. Everyone loves it. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Now, I finished Spider-Man 2. Now, don't get mad at me. I think the gameplay is amazing. They made the gameplay... I didn't think that they could make the gameplay better than it already was in the first game, but adding the wingsuit to the game just like completely changed the gameplay for me. Like, I can't even imagine going back to the first game playing it without the wingsuit. Also, being able to switch between Miles and Peter was really cool. The story, for me, I don't like Kraven as a villain. I really don't. I think Kraven's kind of boring. I mean, I've never seen any other like adaptation of Kraven other than in this game. But in the game, he was just kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't really care for him. Venom was cool. And I liked how Peter got the symbiote suit. And the symbiote suit's gameplay was really fun. That was kind of my concern, was like, why would I not just play as Miles? He has better powers. But then they gave Peter the symbiote suit, and that kind of evened it out for me. And I actually liked the symbiote suit a little more than Miles's powers. But the story, man, I don't know. The story for me just wasn't like, there were just parts of the game, especially when you're playing as Peter's girlfriend. What's her name? I forgot her name. But anyway, when you're playing as her, there's those sections where it's like, okay, I'm like, I get it. Like, let's just get through it. There's just parts of the game where I'm like, let's get through it. The boss fight for me were a little bit too long, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is with Spider-Man 2. Like, I like the game. It's just, I don't think like any other year I'd agree with it being on this list, but I think this year just has so many other great games. I don't know. See, like I understand why it's on here, but at the same time I feel like there's other games that could have took that spot. Well, let me get to the next games, because Spider-Man does deserve a spot on here, but let me get to the next games and I'll kind of explain why I'm talking about it. So Resident Evil 4, played it, really great game, but I just don't get why it's on this list, because it's a remake. In my opinion, I just don't think remakes should be like, everyone knows the first, like the OG Resident Evil 4. I mean, they think it's a great game. I never played it because I was like really young, but since it's a remake, I just don't get why it's on this list. Like, you guys think remakes should be on this list? I remember people were saying Dead Space remake was going to be a Game of the Year contender, and that game's not on here. And understandably, it's a remake. And I just don't think Resident Evil 4 does anything crazy to be Game of the Year. Like, it does everything Resident Evil 2's remake remake did, right? I could be wrong. You guys can yell at me in the comments, but I just don't think Resident Evil 4 should be on here. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, never played it, haven't heard of it. I mean, I heard of it, but I never played it. I haven't seen gameplay for it. Oh, let me say this. Resident Evil 4, I think, should be replaced by either Jedi Survivor. I like Jedi Survivor. I think it should be replaced by that. But I don't know. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, for me, I don't know anything about this game. I wouldn't have this on my list, so I'm sure it's a great game if it's on here, but for me, get that thing out of here. Put like, what other, dude, there's so many games that came out. I'm surprised. You know what's crazy? I thought Diablo, when the Diablo came out, was definitely gonna like be one of the Game of the Year contenders, but then it kind of got, people started to hate on it after the game kind of came out. It was really cool when it first came out. It was like insane, but then a couple weeks later you started to see kind of the issues with it. But I think Resident Evil 4 or Super Bros. Wonder should be replaced with Starfield. Now I know a lot of people didn't like Starfield. I played the crap out of it when it first came out, and I still want to go back and play more. It's just that new game started coming out, so I had to like jump ship. I finished Starfield's campaign, but I had to jump ship to the next game that came out, and then after that another game came out, and now I'm on Alan Wake 2. So that's what happened. I played Starfield, finished the campaign, did almost all the side stuff. I still have some stuff to go, but then Cyberpunk came out, and then I didn't finish the Cyberpunk DLC either, because after that Spider-Man came out, and then I was able to finish Spider-Man 2, but then Alan Wake 2 came out. So after Alan Wake 2, I'm going to go back to Starfield and Cyberpunk. If Cyberpunk came out this year with that DLC, if the game launched the way it came out with that DLC this year, that would be my game of the year easily. But yeah, I think Starfield should be on this list. Either replace Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. For my list personally, and then I think Jedi Survivor should probably be on here too. Is Super Mario Bros. Wonder that crazy where it's game of the year? Like, how different could it be from the other Mario games? Is it that different? But anyway, last game on here, you got Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Automatically should be on this list. I haven't even finished the game yet. I got like halfway through, but just the updates they did to the game, they basically, like, for the abilities they gave you, they basically gave you a dev kit as your power. Like, you can make stuff, build stuff, you can build like cars, you can build like anything. If like the stuff I saw on TikTok and Twitter of people building on Zelda when the game came out was crazy. They're building mechs, they're building all this stuff. Like, that is easily why Zelda should be on this list for sure. Honestly, out of all these games, I wouldn't be mad if Baldur's Gate 3 gets Game of the Year. I wouldn't be mad at that, and I definitely wouldn't be mad if Zelda won. I would be mad if Resident Evil 4 won, and I would be kind of upset if Super Mario Bros. Wonder won, even though I haven't played it. And honestly, I'd kind of be upset too if Spider-Man won. I think Zelda's better than Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 2 is fire, but Zelda just does this thing, man. Like, I don't know, man. The way they do open worlds is just perfect, bro. I don't know. This year has been crazy. This is like the best year for gaming ever. Just game after game after game. And like, I remember how people were like, oh, when Hogwarts Legacy came in, they're like, oh, game of the year, game of the year. It's like, and that game, like, that game hasn't even gotten any nominations for anything. I need to finish that game too, dude. This year's has so many games that I can barely finish anything. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on the game of the year. Let me know what your guys' list is for your 6 nominated games. What would you have on this list? Let me know what your game of the year is. And yeah, man, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to, I saw this posted and I want to talk about it. But anyways, guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel. I stream on Kick now. If you want to argue with me about my list, your list, on Kick with me, check out my Kick. And I stream on the weekends, try to sometimes stream on the weekdays, mostly at night. But yeah, guys, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.